What is up, everybody? This is Brian, the Toyota guy, over here at Fred Anderson Toyota, and it's been kind of a Highlander month for me. Honestly, I go through periods like this a lot. It just depends when we have a lot of Highlanders. I saw a lot of Highlanders. They're very popular vehicles, but I get a lot of common questions as far as the differences in some of these. So I figured I'd just take a few minutes to kind of highlight some of the key differences between basically the 2014 to 2019 Highlanders, at least, that we sell the most of, just so you've got kind of a quick overview of some of the things to look for, maybe if you're in market for one. So as a quick overview with these Highlanders, they're all third row SUVs with a folding third row if you don't need the extra seats. They are all V6s. Some of them have the V6 option with the hybrid, and you have the drivetrain options to have an all-wheel drive, which is probably the more common, or you can get a two-wheel drive variant, which is front-wheel drive driven. They all use the same 3.5 liter V6, which makes right around 300 horsepower and about the same in torque, unless it is the hybrid model, which actually gets just a few extra horsepower more. The Highlander is a lot like a entry-level luxury SUV. With that being said, the only model that does have cloth is the LE, which is the base model for all Toyotas. But as you can see with this one, this is a 2019 LE. This is equipped with cloth. The LE obviously is the base model, so it misses a lot of the other high-end features like sunroof, auto climate control, navigation, larger touchscreen, things like that. But if you're kind of curious to see what the cloth looks like here, it's still a pretty nice, pretty durable fabric. You can get the base model with leather. It's called the LE Plus, which basically just adds a leather but no heated seats. But this is the only way that you can get cloth in a Highlander. Otherwise, the rest are a leather variant. Now, seating in the XLE and higher trims has two different options, where you can have a second row bench like this one, where you've got three across the middle in the second row. Or you can have the optional captain's chair setup, which you can see gives you armrests for each chair, plus this collapsible tray here for cups and storage, things like that. Usually on the higher trims like the Limiteds and the Platinums, this is the standard seating configuration, and the bench is optional the other way around. Another benefit of all the XLE and higher trims is the fact that you've got a split opening tailgate, so you can actually get access to the cargo area with just opening the glass or with the power operation. Now, when it comes to space inside the Highlander, this is something that is common across the board for all of them. Doesn't matter if it's a bench seat or a captain's chair, leather cloth base model, or the Limited Platinum. They all have tons of room. Right now I'm sitting in the second row, and not only do I have tons of headroom, but it is extremely comfortable as far as leg room goes. This seat is probably not back all the way, but you can just see how much room I actually have in here, and I am 6'3". Plus, you can use the little reclining lever here to actually recline the seat back pretty far. And again, that is on the captain's chairs and the bench. Another common theme between all the different trim levels, all the different years and options, is you have a ton of usable storage. So one of my probably favorite features is all of these have this really deep tray that goes the whole length of the dashboard here. You have a little cord pass through right here, so you can actually fit your phone charging cables through there and set your phone, or maybe you want to charge your headphones or something like that. You can set that in that tray. You know, as a guy who sits on a wallet all the time, I like to be able to throw a wallet up in this tray, or pens or receipts or whatever. There's a little divider here, so tons of storage there. And then a really common feature that everybody loves is the fact that he has this massive armrest, which doubles as a huge split opening center console. So you've got a lot of space you can put in here. I mean, it's deeper than my arm up to the elbow. So tons of room in here. You could just about fit a backpack or a small cooler, something like that. Now, as I said earlier, all of the Highlanders do have the third row seat in there, but as you can see with the bench versus the captain's chairs, you still have the same process for getting in that third row. So you just lift that lever up, and then now the seat slides, and then you can basically follow the path right here to get access to that third row. Third row is pretty good for kids. Technically, you can fit adults back here also if you had to in a pinch, and that is mainly just because since these chairs are on sliders, you can actually move them up, lock them into place, and now have a lot more room for the third row. Now, if we compare this to the captain's chairs, one of the main advantages that I always point out with this setup versus the bench is for anybody that has car seats, they know if you have a car seat that's strapped in here, you're not going to be able to go through the folding mechanism due to the fact that that room is taken up by the seat. So what I point out is if you have the captain's chair set up, you can almost kind of see the indentions here on this one, is you can still actually clip in your car seats here and still have an easy way to get in and out of the third row just by going through the center here, much like you would on a minivan. Another pretty nice feature on all of the XLE and higher trim levels are the second row window shades, as you can see here. Now, as far as air conditioning, HVAC management, you do have dual zone climate control up here as long as it is an XLE or higher. And then you always have the additional climate zone for the rear. So that would make it a tri-zone climate control. And what's nice about these Highlanders is no matter what seat you are in, there are air vents for everybody. So as you can see, I'm in the second row. There are air vents in the ceiling there. And we have them again back here in the third row. And you can open or close these vents just depending on how you want to control the airflow. Pretty nice. Now, 2014, 2015, and 2016 models do have a slightly different front end than the 2017, 18, and 19s. And there were some differences as far as safety features that were introduced later on. This one here, as evident on the sticker, is a 2015, which has a little bit more rounded lines on the grille and the headlights. Versus the 2017 and newer models have a lot more of that blocky, kind of more angular grille. It's a little bit more of a stylish grille, if you ask me. It looks a lot more modern. I like the aluminum bars across the front. Definitely a good look. And then for comparison, here is the rear end with more of a clear taillight on the 2015, and here is the 2018 with more red lenses, less clear. So difference of opinion on what you may like or not like on that, but that's the difference between the earlier and the later refresh. Now, these Highlanders do have a lot of features, but if it's an earlier year, unless it's a really high trim model, it will be lacking some of the more modern safety features, which are normally found here on the steering wheel and over here on the dashboard, where you can see there are all of these blanks. Now, while the last one was an XLE, so is this one, but I'll show you in the 2018, you have Toyota Safety Sense, which this one is fully optioned out to have the adaptive cruise, the radar cruise, the lane tracing or the lane keep assist. And then this model also is equipped, if we look over here in the mirrors, see if we can get a good angle there. We do have the blind spot monitoring, which is not really picking up in the camera, but there is a little sensor built in there. That's a little bit better. You can see the little indicator if it will focus, but you can see the little indicator there for the blind spot monitoring there in the mirror. There we go. That is an optional feature on the XLEs during this time frame, so it's just something to look out for. Another benefit of the Toyota Safety Sense package is while most of these have the auto high beam or auto headlights, which is pretty standard on a lot of cars nowadays, the Toyota Safety Sense package also gives you auto high beams. So you can basically leave the stalk in the high beam position, leave your headlamps on auto and your high beams on auto, and everything is taken care of for you. All right, so I would say that pretty much covers all of the basics of the major differences between this generation of the Highlander. Obviously, there's tons of different color options between the interior and the exterior. You have different size screens over the different years. Newer models have more features built in. Some of them have built-in navigation that some features don't. But that pretty much highlights most of the main features and the differences between the Highlanders. So I'm sure if there's something that I got wrong, somebody will correct me in the comments. But again, this is Brian over at Fred Anderson Toyota in Asheville. Thanks as always, and have a great day.